Hi, and welcome back to the channel. Really excited today. I have a special guest today, and before I get into it, I just wanted to say that we did come visit for a quick tour. We did have dinner here. It was lovely, and I wanted to do a tour here at this location, which is La Kea Village. I'm with Tracy Matfin, and also too, before we get into some of the questions today, I wanted to let you know that check the description down below. We're going to list all the information, how you can get informed information, and also contact information with Tracy. And you can reach out to her, reach out to the village, and if you want to come for a visit and check out the space that we did go through. And again, we're not doing any edits, so we're going to go through this. We're going to make mistakes, but we're going to roll with it because it's real. It feels a little more authentic, and that's how we're going to roll with these videos. So welcome back to the channel, and we'll get into some questions here. We do want to find out some back history on Tracy. So thanks for joining us today.
Very welcome, Vance. It's good to be here.
Awesome. So the first question that I generally like to ask is, when you first started this, was this your first village that you were looking at starting?
This was my second.
Okay.
I had done a lot of research and visited many on the West Coast. I was working with a group in Santa Cruz County that we were trying to found one together, but learned a lot in that process and never succeeded in founding anything.
Okay.
And then I moved to Portland, Oregon, where I tried again, and this time I actually acquired property with a partner at the time.
Oh.
And it is currently the Columbia River Eco Village.
Okay. So it's still going.
Yeah, but
Oh.
not thanks to us. Well, thanks to us in the fact that we purchased it and saved it from a developer who was going to doze it and put up apartment buildings.
Oh.
But since we bought it and tried to start a community, even though we didn't succeed, we were able to sell it to friends of ours that then turned it into a co-housing.
Oh,
And
beautiful.
so it's gorgeous.
Okay.
I'm very happy to when I go back and visit there.
That's awesome. How long ago was this?
That was 22 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. If we go a little deeper, if you're okay with it.
Yeah.
What was the original intent? Why would you want to move in this direction of intentional community? Was there something happening in your life? Was there just...
I studied environmental science at UC Berkeley,
Okay.
and one of my lifetime goals is to try to figure out how to be more sustainable, how to walk more in harmony and balance with the land.
Yeah.
And I quickly realized that to walk in harmony and balance with the land, you also need to walk in harmony and balance with the people that you're sharing the land with.
Yeah.
So the two go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I learned that big time when I tried to start the Columbia River Eco Village.
Okay. So that's kind of cool to hear, because it's like you had the intention and you started, and it may have not worked out fully, maybe what you imagined originally, but
Right.
you were able to branch it off, sounds like, and it
Yeah.
still continued. So that's
Yeah.
kind of a cool idea actually to hear.
Thanks. I
Yeah.
want to be clear that when I was trying to find something there, we were calling it the Cully Collective.
Okay.
So I had nothing to do with the current name and the current, well, the vision it ended up being is very similar to what we had wanted. But I had nothing to do with it other than saving the land from developers.
Yes, and that's pretty awesome. So what, if you don't mind sharing too, what was the split to not continue there, and then I guess to come out here?
Yeah.
Is that the next step?
I learned that it's all about the people, and the people that you live with. Well, I can tell you what we're looking for here, because it's what we've discovered, is you need to be working with people that are willing to look at themselves.
Yeah.
They're willing to own their own shadows and dance with them and hear reflection. And if that can't happen, it's going to be really hard to share land, share power dynamics, and create some kind of consensus decision-making
Okay.
agreements.
I'm learning that a lot as I start meeting a lot of these. It's almost like the permaculture is easy in a sense. The relationships is where it's the tricky.
Yes, absolutely, hands down.
I do want to hear more about that and what you
Yeah.
guys do here with that. But before we do, what brought you here, and why La Kea Village, or what was the original? Was this back
Yeah.
20 years ago?
This was 20 years ago. I met an individual, Robert Long, Bico. He is here now, one of the founding members as well. And I met him, and he had done community. He'd lived at Brighton Bush. He'd lived at a community in Eugene, Oregon for many years. I can't remember the name of. And he'd lived in the area here at a community called Shivalila, which no longer exists
Okay.
as well.
That was here on Big Island.
Yes.
Okay.
And so he had lots of community experience. And he came home back to the island, and he's like, I think you'd love it here. So I decided to come here and visit, and I never left.
You never been here before?
No.
Oh, okay, good for you.
I'd never
Taking
been
the
here
leap.
before. I got here, I'd just done the Vipassana course.
Yeah.
I landed on the Kona side, and it was just dry and rocky and bleh. Drove over here, all the hairs on my body stood up. And
That's
I
a
was
good
like,
sign.
whoa.
I love it.
So I stayed
Oh,
and
wow.
worked with him, and then eventually 5 others joined us to co-found a community. This piece of land came up for sale.
Okay.
It's what they often call a turnkey community because it already had some fruit orchards and it already had some structures.
Okay.
And we succeeded in acquiring this and took off with 7 of us.
Oh, I bet that was a glorious
It
day.
was exciting. I have a photo of us in the escrow
Oh, you do?
office signing
Oh,
the
okay.
papers.
Oh, awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
That's crazy that it's that long ago to me because I'm just learning a lot about this too now. And so
Yeah.
it's really cool that you guys already pioneered a lot of this. And that's where I hope to share some of your knowledge today and your experience with the viewers to where we can, there's some people out there that maybe want to come visit, but also maybe some people that want to start their own.
Sure.
And where they can tap in, and that's hopefully where we can connect all of this in with some of this previous experience.
Thanks.
Yeah, so I do want to talk a little bit about, before we dive into maybe a little more of the nuts and bolts and daily life here,
Sure.
I want to talk a little more about when you did start this, and did you have help, or how did you come up with some of these ideas about owning part of the land? I have read about some of it, and we've learned a little bit about it, but if you can just kind of give a general overview of what
Sure.
that looks like and how you started that.
Sure. The original founders, we all met through an organization called Network for New Culture. And through that, we got some ideas about communication, transparency, and how to maintain connection. Then we got Diana Leaf Christensen's book called Creating a Life Together.
Yeah.
And we used that kind of like our Bible. And we read everything she said, we paid attention to what was in there. It talks about the different ways to own land, the different power structures you might set up, decision-making structures, stuff like that.
Wow.
Pitfalls to avoid, things to move towards, and we used that. That's how we
pretty
did
good. How did it work like in the beginning? I mean, I'm sure there's some.
It was a lot of work. It was days and days. Okay, I'm not even gonna say days. It was months of hashing out what our agreements are, what's our vision, who do we want to be. I would say once we acquired the land, before we acquired the land, we probably spent on average 5 hours a week for about 6 months, and then more like 12 hours a week for the next 6 months.
Wow.
And then we actually acquired the land.
Okay.
And then once we were here, our daily life was go out on the land and find out what we have, come home for lunch, and meet, and have meetings in the afternoon,
Okay.
and then have dinner together and go to bed. Next day, repeat. And that went
Yeah.
on for at least the first 3 months.
Okay. That's really good. It sounds like you really needed that, though. I mean,
Oh.
intentional community, you want to have the intentions, the set, everything,
Yep.
really setting forth a baseline.
Yep.
And I'm sure it's kind of evolved and changed a little bit, or
Oh,
is
absolutely.
it? Okay.
Things have evolved and changed, but our basic operating agreements haven't changed much.
Cool.
Our buy-in, buy-out has changed,
Okay.
but our consensus decision-making agreement hasn't changed. How you become a member hasn't changed. Categories of membership haven't changed.
Okay.
And those are the basic operating agreements for an LLC, which is how we own this land.
Okay.
That was the structure we chose.
Okay.
And we made that choice based on the different possibilities in Hawaii at the time.
Okay.
And to do a trust, a land trust, or other, like I think we also looked at a cooperative back then, and for both of those, you had to have 50% of the decision-making body not living there.
Oh,
We did not want that.
yeah.
We were like,
Yeah.
no.
That's like the whole reason.
We don't want people that aren't living with us making decisions for us.
Yes. Wow.
So that's how come we chose to go with an LLC,
Okay.
because then that meant we all got to be member owners, and it was up to us to make all the decisions.
Okay. Sounds like you definitely thought that one out, and that was way better.
We did. I mean, at this point in time, I'm not exactly sure what would be the best, because I haven't researched the current laws in Hawaii for land ownership.
Okay.
But I think it's probably still a pretty good idea.
Yeah, it's working now still. So
Yeah.
I guess if you need to evolve, you can.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
that's great. Okay. Thanks for sharing all that.
Yeah.
Let's go to maybe some of the, now that you've set the foundation here and everything, what about the structures, the locations, the zones here? How did you decide where to put what? How did that work into a community?
Sure.
Yeah.
So when we acquired the land, it was a diamond in the rough. It had some structures, but it had basically been sitting fallow or close to fallow for almost 2 years.
Okay.
And in the jungle, during that time, everything grows. So this beauty that you see behind us
Yeah.
was all jungle.
Wow.
There was a solid wall of vegetation.
Wow.
There was no space. And when you would walk down the path over there that we're going to walk down on in just a minute,
Yeah.
it was just a corridor. Like if you've ever gone hiking in the rainforests
Yeah.
down in South America, it basically you couldn't see more than 2 feet
Whoa.
beyond the wall. It was just boom.
Wow.
So that was interesting, and part of the reason why we spent every morning whacking stuff down. At lunch, we'd be like, I found an ulu tree. Oh, I found a hut. You know, or one of the most glorious moments was, I found 20 buckets of composted human manure.
Yeah.
That was like a really big deal.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And then we would go after lunch and sit and have our meetings about processes and that kind of stuff.
Okay. That's beautiful. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
I do want to ask too a little bit about we're going to move into maybe some of the daily life here now, but I do want to know a little bit about finances or money. You can give a general overview, but how does that work here? Do you have people come stay, and they pay, or do we do, we'll also talk about current events. I know you have some events coming up.
We do.
So, but I do like to know a little bit, because obviously coming from like the business world, the corporate world, you're like, I gotta do this, and then I have fun, and then see my friends, and it's a totally different world here.
How do you do it? Here, we are a community that practices partial income sharing.
Okay.
So when you start looking into communities, they're all different kinds. There's ones that are total income sharing, there's ones that are partial income sharing, and then there's some that don't share income at all.
Okay.
Okay, we're partial.
Okay.
So we own the land together as an LLC. Everybody that lives here, whether you're a member or a visitor or a farm supporter, you are paying something towards the collective every month.
Cool.
From the collective common kitty, we buy the things that we all need in common. So the toilet paper comes out of there, the propane comes out of there, the fuel for the lawnmower, the food, the garden supplies. That all comes from the common kitty.
Cool.
Whenever we host an event, that money goes in the common kitty.
Okay.
When we have visitors, that money goes in the common kitty.
Okay.
The farm supporter fees goes in the common kitty. When we have folks come over that maybe they're going to do whatever they're going to do down in our common space. Maybe there's like a group that wants to, like in January, there's an individual that wants to come and teach some self-love workshops.
Awesome.
Any donations that come to that event will go in the common kitty.
Okay. Do people work also too privately? I mean, is that?
Oh yeah, because I'm a member, but I still pay $250 a month.
Okay.
Now, we are also a wonderful example for low-income housing because there's very few places that you can live somewhere for $250 a month.
That's pretty cheap.
All of the basic essentials covered.
Yeah.
If you're not a member, it's $360 a month
Okay.
because you haven't made the commitment
Okay.
to that, which is a big deal. That
Yeah.
means the members have made a commitment to show up for the business meetings once a week. They've made a commitment to go through the process together of creating something that's sustainable and long lasting.
Cool. Okay, let's talk a little bit about that because you have where people can come visit, just stay for a week, or if they want to stay longer,
Yeah.
and then if they want to invest, and they say, hey, this is cheap but very rich,
Yes.
right? But how
Yes.
does that, just kind of give a quick overview on how that works? for
Yeah.
somebody who wants
Okay.
to come.
So you can come visit for a short time, just like a day or two, or come for a tour. Then you'd be a visitor, and our visitor rate is $60 a day
Okay,
if you're going to stay the night, and we have a cabin that you can stay in for that.
cool.
No expectations, other than you are curious about community, curious about permaculture. We're not an Airbnb.
Gotcha.
This isn't a place to come to sleep while you go tour the island. This is a place to come because you're curious about what it's like to live in a community.
Yeah, that's good. We put that
Okay,
intention.
it's the difference.
Yeah.
That's how come it's so cheap, is because we want it to be affordable for people that want to do that kind of thing.
Awesome.
It includes food.
Okay.
Then if you are curious about really living with us and sinking your teeth into it, then I would suggest you come as a farm supporter.
Okay.
And a farm supporter makes a commitment towards 2 hours of working on the land with us together every day.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be like you're doing 2 hours every day. You can do 4 hours and take a day off or whatever, but it's 14 hours a week
Okay.
and $12 a day. And we
Okay.
ask for a month commitment, so that means it's $360 for the month.
Okay. Is that for somebody like a farm supporter? Could it be somebody new also that maybe doesn't know anything? They get
Yes,
help? Okay.
it can be somebody new. We are going to ask for references because
Okay.
we want to make sure that you have the self-discipline and the intention to really show up collectively.
Yeah.
So we do check references for that.
Yeah, that's
for
good
that
because you're
long.
kind of starting to tap in because they want to be a little more serious, and you're kind of tapping in to be like, well, hey, we want to know who you are,
Right.
and see that vulnerability, the connection, how much you're wanting to, and then just a
Yes.
little bit more taste with it, right? So
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah. So
a good
once
thing.
again, we're not the hostel. There's other places in Hawaii that you can go if you're just looking for somewhere to hang.
Yeah.
This is like you really want to come and sink your teeth into this and
Yeah.
like really see what it's like to live with a group of people and
Awesome.
work on the land and eat local food and prepare it and communicate and be authentic.
Yeah, I love it. How long is the farm stay, or is there a time limit, or no? Is that just kind of
It's a 1 month commitment,
okay?
and then after the first 2 weeks, if you're enjoying it, you can ask to be extended.
Okay.
But it's always a month-to-month basis as long as
Okay.
you're a farm supporter.
Okay.
And so every month it gets reevaluated at our business meeting
Cool.
about whether it's a good fit or not.
Yeah, for both sides, right?
For
That's
both
Where are you at?
sides.
Where are you at? Am I
Absolutely.
seen? Am I heard? Are you? Is it a good fit?
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know. I'm learning more too, but
Yeah.
I'm obviously interested, But from the farm stay, where does it go from there? Is that where somebody
Okay, you love it.
wants
And you
yeah.
go, wow, this place is really cool. I'm curious about membership. And the time you've been here, you've been asking questions and looking at the difference between, or what it would mean to be a member.
Okay.
And you say, I'm curious, I'd like to be a trial member. And so then we invite you. You can always audit a business meeting,
Okay.
but as a farm supporter, we're not going to ask you your input or give you basically any kind of say in what we choose to do. But if you decide to become a trial member, then it's expected that you would show up for the business meetings. So you come to the first one where you ask, and we ask you why you want to be a trial member. And if you say, you tell us why, and we're all happy, and you decide yes, which you'll probably pretty much know what's going to happen before you even ask.
Yeah, that's a good taste of it beforehand.
Yeah, we don't hide things. There's no reason to.
Awesome.
Okay, so then you enter a period of a minimum of 6 months as a trial member. And during that time, you no longer have to count your hours. You still pay $360 a month. You come to all the business meetings and your voice is heard.
Cool.
The only thing you can't do is you can't block a decision,
Okay.
but otherwise we listen to you.
Okay.
And then after a minimum of 6 months, but typically it lasts longer than that, the
Okay.
trial membership period, because we found that on both sides, whether it's the trial member or the group, we want to make sure we really got to know each other.
Yeah.
So anytime between 6 months and a year, you can say, I'm sold, this is what I want to become a member. And then we have a big meeting, we talk about it,
Okay.
and then if you do become a member at that point, then it's a commitment towards a $35,000 buy-in.
Yeah.
You don't have to have the $35,000 right up front.
Okay.
Typically, any kind of a deposit that you have that you can put in, usually it's about $5,000, but it could be less than that.
Okay.
You agree to put that in. We come up with what's appropriate for the individual. For some people, it's like, here's my 35,
Yeah.
and then you're in. And for other people, it's I'm gonna pay $3,000 now, and then I'm gonna pay $300 a month plus my $250, because my monthly dues just went down from $360 to $250 because now I'm a member.
Yeah.
And so then you have a place to live, you have food, you have community, you have support,
Yeah.
you have all of that for $550 a month.
It's still cheap.
Yeah, and there's no interest because
Okay.
we don't believe in interest.
That's awesome.
You're just paying towards your equity every month and
Okay.
acquiring equity.
That's amazing. And
Yeah.
coming from the business world, like to have that flexibility, that means open arms. That means
Yeah.
if you're the right person, we are the right person too. And that's a whole different,
Totally.
especially the way the world is going and the way we won't go off in 6, but like, they're like, it's got to be this way, and it's increasing, and inflation, and and then you come here, and that's the flexibility of that. I really appreciate that, because I know a lot of people would appreciate that too. Seeing the contrast, and just the idea of that opens them up, along with me and everybody else. That like, oh my gosh, what have you guys been doing for 20 years, and why haven't I heard about it?
Totally.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. We're not super out there. We're
I know.
here.
Well, that's why we're doing this too, to help get you and then hopefully some others and bridge some gaps with that.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Very
So I
cool.
do want to ask too. So like, if since we're doing these videos,
Yeah.
we'll be doing them with other villages. Is there anything that you personally, with all your experience, would like to hear in these other videos from other people that would help you or help other ones? Like, what would you like to hear from other ones as we go along these videos?
I would like to hear what it looks like when I come and visit. I would like to know how much I'm involved in the regular community. And then if I'm curious about actually making it my home, then I would like to know the stuff I've already told you. Though I didn't actually tell you yet, what is their decision-making policy? How is power and control managed? Who owns the land? Who makes the decisions? Those are the two most important things in my book about what kind of a community do you have.
Yeah.
Because you can have lots of different kinds of communities.
Okay.
And here in Hawaii, that happens a lot. Someone owns a piece of land, they say, come live with me. And it's all fine and dandy as long as they want you there.
Wow.
But as soon as they don't, for whatever reason, you don't have any rights and you're out. So
Yeah.
to me, that doesn't breed sustainability.
Yeah.
I only know of one instance where one individual, friend of mine, found himself in a situation like that, and it's still working 20 years later,
Wow.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
The guy is very benevolent.
Wow.
But this question still remains about what's going to happen when he dies.
Yeah. I can see that being a sticky point.
So that's a sticky point.
Yeah,
And I kind of diverged into
It's all good. No, that's
other
all good.
stuff.
Yeah.
But I've had many friends who have gone to try doing that with lots of different places and gotten burned.
Yeah, and then you're just kind of jumping around and maybe you don't want to. And then it leads into your experience of like, hey, this is what's working, you know, and also not only the investment of money, but also the investment of showing up.
Yes.
And that's where it's like, oh, we're here together as equals. We're here to help each other. And that's the whole point of like
Right.
living together, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
So
not
when you
just-
interview other places, I want to
Yeah.
hear how they make their decisions.
Awesome.
I want to
Okay.
hear how they own the land.
Yeah.
I think those are the two biggest ones.
Okay, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing for me, so I can add that in as we go along, and this grows too.
I
And then,
think the,
oh, go ahead.
the
Yeah.
third point that just came up with me is
Yeah.
like, what is the community's priorities? Like, I would say we are a community, this is our home, first, second, and third. And fourth, maybe we host a retreat here or there,
Okay.
but there's other communities that are retreat focused.
Oh.
And so life revolves around the events. It revolves around the planning, it revolves around the transient people coming in and out.
Yeah.
And that makes a different feel.
Yeah, you're
Creates a
right.
different feel. So that's also something that would be important for me to know if I was going to go visit a community or possibly consider living there.
Yeah, that's a good point. That
Yeah.
totally add a different dynamic. I could see that. And there's
Yeah.
a balance to it, right? With all of it, especially with the people, I would imagine be the main focus of how you're balancing.
Yeah,
Right?
totally.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to probably write these down later, but I got the video, so we'll save it. But
You can look at it later.
yes, I do want to ask because you touched on something right now that I
Yeah.
remembered. One of the questions, just on your, you don't have to dive into it too much unless you want to, but how do you, with those decision-making things and like having, let's say, arguments or anything that does arise where there is a lot of contrast, and
Yeah.
do you have systems in place? How does that even work? Is it, give us a general overview of how
Conflict
that.
resolution.
Awesome. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for us, a lot of that comes from our own personal toolkits. I'll call them
Okay.
toolkits.
Cool.
The people that live here have a lot of different skills. So most of us are trained in peer counseling, also known as co-counseling or reevaluation counseling.
Okay.
We're trained in mediation. We're trained as facilitators. We're trained in compassionate communication, nonviolent communication.
Right.
You know, maybe we've studied Katie Bryan's work or, you know, all different kinds of things. And it
Okay.
all comes together to create an individual who's emotionally aware and able to, like I said at the beginning, own their own stuff.
Yeah.
Be able to, you can dance by yourself at ecstatic dance, but as soon as you do any kind of contact improv
Yeah.
or any kind of partner dancing, you are dancing with somebody else, and you're both equally responsible for every move you make. And so when you get in an argument with somebody, if you got in an argument with them, you have a part.
Yeah.
Because there's something inside of you that's sticky, that's like Velcro, that's something about them is going,
Yeah.
and so you have to be willing to look at that.
Yeah.
And that's really important.
That's huge.
That's
That's like
huge.
that's just a life skill that everybody wants to
Right.
learn. They needs to learn, but like wants to, maybe not, doesn't want to, but
Right.
that's huge.
Right. And so
Okay.
working on those skills, being willing to, being excited to. You don't have to have all that training when you come here, but we're looking for people that are excited to learn,
Yeah.
willing to learn,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah. More open, vulnerable to it.
Yeah, and so that creates the container from which, when there is conflict, we have a basis to work from. So we're not going to end up in a situation where we have someone going, "You did it,
Yeah.
right? It's all your fault."
Yeah.
It's like, that doesn't exist. There's a mutuality somewhere.
Yeah.
So
And there's gold in there, right? That's the
Yes.
like, that the reason that it triggers us is because we're like, oh, you might be a best friend from the other side, right? And you found my sticky point. You can see it.
yes,
And I have been trying to hide it, right? And
Yes.
then when you uncover it, it's like, that's the liberation, that's the gold, that's, you know, what I've been learning the past few years too myself, which is
Yeah.
really awesome. So
Yeah.
that's great that you guys even have a lot of the background and the training with that. Maybe even somebody that's just interested even in that might want to come and
oh,
experience
absolutely.
something like that.
Come
here,
and
so.
just be in our container and feel what it feels like
Rad.
to be in a space like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's that energy?
It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Yeah.
Let's talk about daily life here.
Okay.
Give us like a rundown of just kind of the quick, daily life. Do you guys have
Daily life.
schedules? How's it work with meals?
So Monday through Saturday, sometimes on Sundays, we'll start the day with a check-in.
Okay.
Someone will blow the conch around 8:30, and those that want will come and gather on the front porch.
Okay.
And it's usually kept pretty short. It's just like, how are you doing? Do you need support? You're trying to get somewhere? Is there something stressful happening that you need emotional support for? That kind of stuff.
Cool.
And then that's optional. Then after that, we have work parties 4 out of the 5 regular business days where folks get together. Typically, it's a member and then it's the farm supporters.
Okay.
And we go do stuff on the land, whatever that might be.
Okay.
And then we have lunch, but lunch is on your own.
Okay.
So you use the community kitchen, the gardens, the food in the common larder. You create your lunch.
Okay.
Afternoon's free, do whatever you want.
Okay.
And then we get together for dinner Monday through Friday. Typically between 5:30 and 6 we eat.
Okay.
And we rotate the cook shift.
Yeah.
So like I will cook one night a week with 1 or 2 other people. So
Okay.
I'm not doing the cook shift alone. I'm
Okay.
preparing dinner for between 15 and 20 people.
Okay.
And they'll show up, they'll come eat my food, and then I'll clean the kitchen if it's my shift.
Okay.
And then the other 4 nights, I show up and I don't have to do anything but sit down and eat.
That's awesome.
It's really
And
nice.
it's different food, right? Like you
Yeah,
were saying the last time.
because
Yeah.
everybody has stuff that they do best.
Yeah.
And so we have some really great cooks here. So we eat really well.
I bet. And I noticed, so you use a lot of this stuff on the land.
Yeah.
Do you get stuff from the store also?
Yes.
Just kind of pick and choose?
Yes,
Okay.
we do. And so it depends on who's cooking as
Okay.
to how much of your meal is going to be local.
Okay.
But typically, a typical meal is about 50%.
Okay.
Sometimes it's lower, and sometimes it's a lot higher.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I think last Friday I made a meal with another longtime member, and 95% of it was from the land.
Okay.
Salt and pepper, no,
pretty
we
good.
bought that.
Okay.
And the olive oil, we bought that.
Yes.
But,
I know, huh? That would be a little difficult, but I
Yeah.
guess some people could do it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay. And then so we have the daily life, and then also too, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of your events that you
Sure.
do have coming up, just so we can have that out there. And then if you want to share anything along those lines of events for this whole next year also
Okay.
too, and kind of just the ideas and your intentions behind those events.
Okay.
Because I know you have a balance here, which seems to be working, and how you guys have the tight-knit community, but you also do bring in people.
Yeah.
So there's like a change in dynamic, but I know
Yeah.
that's enjoyable in some
It
way,
is
so.
enjoyable. It's fun. It's like I don't really have to leave the land, but I do, because it's good to leave the land to get more balance.
Yeah.
But people come in a lot.
Okay.
So I would say our events, we typically, like I said before, we're a home. That's our top priority. And we have between 2 and 3 events a year
Okay.
that I would call multi-day events. We might have a song circle. We might have, we often have dances of universal peace, which is a form of Sufi dancing.
Okay.
We usually do that once a month. It's a couple of hours down in the meadow space,
Cool.
that kind of thing. But for multi-day events, there's only 2 or 3 a year.
Okay.
And the 2 that are coming up, in February, we have one called Dancing in Paradise.
Okay.
And it's all universal peace dances and Sufi dances. And it'll be 6 days, 5 nights. And you can get more information on our website.
Cool.
And it's just great. It's basically singing all day
Yeah.
with some simple dance movements together,
Okay.
eating together, sharing meals together, meditating together.
Okay.
so
And
the-
you have people from all over the world that find this and come fly here, and okay.
Yep.
How do they find out about you now?
Right now, they find out about us through the Sufi community.
Okay.
So it's through the Dances of Universal Peace tribe.
Cool. Okay.
And we don't have a lot of international. We have some.
Okay.
It's mostly folks that are in the United States.
Okay.
But like that said, there's still some that come in. I would say maybe 10% come in from outside the U.S.
Okay.
And I think that's mostly just, it's word of mouth for one, and it's also travel.
Yeah.
That's a long ways to travel.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I know some people do come out here from far away, but not too many. I know
Not too
it's
many.
mostly jump island or jump from mainland.
Right.
How many people come to that first event?
Right now, registration's at 70.
Whoa. Okay, so you got a
we
lot.
actually have a wait list at this
Oh, so
moment.
it's capped at 70. Okay.
Yeah, and then we have another one happening later in March, and that one's called Winter Camp.
Okay.
And that one's through the Network for New Culture. And so that's a time when we gather together with the tribe and people that want to learn and bring themselves in to what it's like to really do your best to live and act from a place of heart-centeredness, authenticity, and transparency, where you're really sharing what's alive for you with compassion and awareness. There's a little radical honesty in there too, you know. Doesn't have to be all nicey nice,
Yeah.
because sometimes it's not nicey nice.
A little messy sometimes.
Yep, can be messy sometimes. And there'll be presenters doing different things. You know, I know that this year we're going to have some, you know, fun. There's going to be some improv, and there's going to be a presentation on grief and like a death cafe kind of thing. There's going to be some dance. There's going to be some communication. There's going to be some personal growth work.
And that's, how long is that one? Yeah, that's definitely
It's 10 days.
a lot of stuff in there. 10 days? Okay. And are you filled up for that one?
We're not filled up for that one
Okay.
yet.
Okay. How close are you to being filled up with that one?
We're probably about 2/3.
Okay. Okay.
But we have a few more months on that one.
Yeah, a little ways. And so those the two events? Do you have a third event this coming year?
Right now, we don't.
Okay.
Not that's planned. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
But we're always open for farm support. Well, not always. Sometimes we're full. Like, I believe right now, March is probably full for farm support.
Okay.
But after that,
Cool.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Well, I would love to get a tour. And before we do get up and I want to tour the kitchen, I can smell the food in there. It smells good. And before we do that, is there anything that you just wanted to share? I do like to leave it open-ended, you know, just to be able to open up anything or whatever. It could be anything you want to share with the community and with anybody watching this right now. Yeah.
Come visit. It's pretty cool and radical to have this kind of an experience in your life, where I didn't believe it when I used to be a high school science teacher, and I just did the regular status quo. I had to have my house, I had to have my everything all lined up. And then when I found out about intentional communities, I was like, what? What is that? And here I am now, and you know, life is great. The stress is way down from what it was when I was doing the standard life. And it's really beautiful and rewarding. So whether it's here or somewhere else, go find a community near you. That's what I'd say.
You're happy and content, and you can see that all over.
Yeah.
I love it. Awesome. Well, let's go get a tour.
Yeah.
You can take us around wherever you want to lead us, and
Okay.
you be the guide, so you let us know however you want to.
Okay, so this is our main house. No one actually lives in the main house. It's a place that anyone can come and hang out 24/7. It's where the kitchen is, the Wi-Fi, you know, the office, the library, lots of hangout spaces here. So we're going to do a quick look here, and we'll peek into the kitchen as well. We'll just take a quick peek in the kitchen and video these guys' backs unless they want to turn around. But we're giving them the choice.
See if we get a wave.
Come on over here.
Smells so good.
And then this is our main hangout space. And it's just comfy, cozy, homey. That's how it goes.
And this is like the space that you guys gather after Dinner,
after
lunch,
dinner,
anywhere,
lunch,
anytime.
anytime during the day, just
Yeah.
kind of chill out.
Love it.
This is we call it our yoga room or our indoor classroom. And it's just another space that you can come and chill out in. You can do your exercises in here, hang upside down from the hammock. When it gets cold, which doesn't happen very often, but we have a stove,
Oh,
so you
yeah.
can light a fire in there and get nice and cozy during those wet, stormy times of the year.
Which is, I guess, is coming now.
Yes,
It's the time.
it is. It is
But it's still pretty warm, so
still
it's
pretty warm.
not mainland cold and rainy.
Yeah. Okay. And now I think I'm going to loop you around
Okay.
back. Since it is misting, raining, do you need an umbrella, or you guys are good?
That's
Or
a good question. Do you have one accessible right now? Oh,
It
you do.
looks
Look
like-
at that.
looks like I do.
I don't mind for me, but I can.
Right. This for the This is
Yeah.
for the camera.
The camera guy.
Camera guy. There you go. The rest we'll just get wet.
Are you okay getting those on? Are you
Yeah.
okay barefoot?
Okay. So this is our main entrance. And over this way is where we have our bathhouse. We're totally off grid. There's no lines or pipes coming in here at all. So we catch our own water and it goes through filters to make sure it's safe to drink. This is our bathhouse. There's 2 showers in there and a bathtub and some bathroom sinks. And this is where everybody comes to get clean. This is our catchment tank. This is our solar shed and where our washer and dryer are.
You're probably accustomed to it, but I will mention it's just amazing walking around this much green.
You gotta like
When
the
you-
color green.
Yes.
So that's where our hot tub used to be. It's just a flat area. The outdoor shower structure needs a little repair, but things happen when you're building new things. Other things get left behind
Oh, yeah.
temporarily. This is our outdoor shower. For us, nudity is no big deal. But you're a choice because the indoor showers, you could see, were private.
Oh,
So
That's cool.
for us, something that's really important is personal choice.
yeah.
So are you someone that doesn't mind being naked with others? Great. 3 heads of a shower, take a shower,
Yeah.
you're there. If not, then don't.
The options.
But there's something freeing about just being out and being able to take a shower.
Right. You're another tree in the forest.
Right. This is our new ferrous cement hot tub. It has a
Nice.
wood burning stove attached to it that cycles the water through it and makes it hot.
Oh, cool. How often do you guys go in this?
We go in that probably once a month.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fun.
because it's a bit of a effort to heat it.
Yeah.
Someone has to want to do it. It
Yeah.
takes tending first you got to clean it and fill it, and then you got to heat it.
Wow.
It's about 6 hours worth of work
Okay.
to get in there. But once we have it hot, we usually keep it hot for a few days.
Oh, yeah. You get to enjoy
Yeah.
it for a little bit.
Yeah.
I could see that.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
That's our emu.
Okay.
An emu is a traditional Hawaiian oven. So basically it's a great big pit with some rocks in it.
Yeah.
And we would have a giant bonfire inside the pit. Once the coals get really hot, we pull the rocks out. No, sorry, getting confused here. We leave the rocks there. We put banana stalks on top. Then we put banana leaves, tea leaves, the food we want to basically steam.
Oh, okay.
That's what we're doing in that. That's why the banana stalks are on top of the rocks,
Okay.
is because they have so much water in them. They'll release the steam.
Oh,
And so we stick a pig in there, or sheep, or both, and ulu and taro. Cover it up with tea leaves, banana leaves, banana stalks, and a bunch of blankets, and leave it for close to 24 hours.
Oh my goodness.
Take it all off. It's yummy.
Feast.
It's
Sounds
yummy.
good.
So the metal is just to keep people from falling in a hole.
Oh, okay.
There's a cacao tree.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty nice to be able to eat some of the amazing things that people love from the tropics. You know, it's hard to have garlic and onions because they require freeze mostly, but they also have issues with soil nematodes and stuff. So it's hard to grow those here. You can, but it grows better up in Waimea. But hey, I can grow coffee, tea, chocolate, vanilla, turmeric, ginger.
Those are all my favorites right there.
Right. This is our outdoor campfire. We'll have little fires. This is our kitchen garden,
Oh yeah, that's so
which
green.
is
Look at
pumping at different times of the year.
that
But it
kale.
gives you an idea.
Yeah, a little something.
This is a romper lime tree. That's an heirloom lime. So they look like oranges, but they're actually limes. There's an ulu tree behind it.
How many people are on the property right now currently?
Currently, 17.
Yeah, okay, it's a good number.
It's a good number.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is our composting toilet. We're not going to go in there,
Yeah.
but basically it's an outhouse.
Okay.
But it's an outhouse in which we catch what you deposit. And then we leave it capped in a bucket that we pull out the back. We have these big 50-gallon drums. Pull it out the back, let it sit for about a year, and then it's composted, and then we put it on our immature fruit trees. We put it anywhere where we don't harvest the food off the ground.
Okay, okay, I see.
So like we don't put it in our gardens with the broccoli and the cauliflower. No, we don't put it in our citrus orchard because we're constantly picking oranges off the ground. But we'll put it on our bananas and our bamboo, the young fruit trees that we're not harvesting food off the ground.
Okay.
And it's great. Any kind of indigenous culture that you research used human manure because we're really bad at keeping the minerals in our body. Most of the stuff that we put in comes out the other end nutrition-wise as well.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So-
yeah. It's kind of the way that's the sustainability right there, right?
Yeah.
The cycling.
So that's a path that takes you down to a big community space. We're going to skip that today.
Okay.
But the big community space is, there's a basketball hoop down there and a place
Okay.
where people might go down and just set up some music and just move their bodies.
Oh, cool. Okay.
This is our Quonset hut meadow. And so these huts, if you can flash over there, you get an angle maybe. These are like they're like small greenhouses. They have tarp roofs, screen walls. They have a tarped floor, a raised platform with a mattress on it for a bed. And that's where folks can stay.
Awesome. How long does something like that last?
The tarp roof is the first thing to go,
Yeah.
and it will last between 10 and 15 years.
Okay.
We are in the process of replacing our tarp structures with small cabins. So like this used to be a hoop house,
Oh,
and
cool.
now it's a small cabin, and works great. Right here while we're standing, you have coffee, you have vanilla in the monkey pod tree,
Oh wow.
you have an avocado back there, there's a loquat back there, there's another cacao over there, there's mamey zapotes directly overhead. And between the two mamey zapotes is a durian. The durian hasn't ever fruited yet. We're kind of high elevation for most durians, which is kind of a bummer. But I don't know, check back in another 15 to 20 years. Maybe we'll have a durian orchard.
Who knows?
Who knows? What we do here moves with who is here. So the members together, we move the energy the way we want it. So if we want to be more engaged in aquaculture, we'll put our energy into aquaculture. We want to have sheep on the land, we'll have sheep on the land. We want to grow more vegetables, we'll grow more vegetables.
Yeah.
It's driven by the people.
Yeah.
So that kind of gives you an idea. Yeah, so I'm going to take you past,
Okay.
let's see. I think actually I'm going to take you past the main house.
Okay. Let's do it. Yeah.
Because we'll go back
We'll
the way
follow
we
you.
were.
I know there's so much to see here, but we're probably gonna have to let the people come back and visit.
Yes,
if
they're going to have
that's
to come back on their own to really see it.
Just give a little insight.
And just because you're looking at all the greenery as you're walking by, you know, this is katuk, which is a perennial edible green.
Yeah.
You can eat it, and but if you ever come to the tropics anywhere, find out whether they have rat lungworm or not, because that's a very dangerous parasite that you don't want to get, and you don't always see it written up in the tourist literature. So just pay attention if you're going to the tropics.
I have heard about that.
And katuk tastes kind of nutty. It's yummy. This is where we hang up our laundry. This is our harvesting shed, aka slaughterhouse. We have a relationship with the local wild pigs where they eat some of our food and we eat some of them. I haven't gotten their agreement yet, and for those of you that don't eat animals, I apologize. I want everyone to have their right to do what they want. Here in our community, that, like I said, that's one of our practices, is if you're a vegan, that's great. But some of us aren't vegans, and that's fine too. What matters to us is paying attention to where the food comes from, making sure it's not factory farmed, whether that's meat or soybeans or corn. We want to avoid the factory farms. We want to pay attention to locally grown, sustainably harvested, that kind of thing. So in my mind, that pig was wild and free till the moment it wasn't. And so for me, that's how I maintain my balance.
It's good. We see you.
This is our orchard. We have a few. This is the biggest one. It used to be predominantly citrus, but it also has like a black sapote and some Suriname cherries and soursop and Djibouti kaba and avocado, abiyu, lots of stuff. And if you don't want to know what half of what I said was, it's another reason to come visit.
Oh, these look pretty beautiful.
Yeah, these are abiyus. You won't really see them in the grocery store because they have an incredibly short shelf life.
Oh.
Basically, harvest them and eat them. If you, do you guys want one?
Well, sure. How can I say no? This is kind of like a tree saying, don't put me in the store. Just
Right.
pick me and
Pick
eat
me, eat me. It's got a lot of latex in the skin,
Oh, wow.
so you would bite without your lips off the end and eat
And
the
eat the inside?
inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if it's
And,
bitter like a... Oh, wow, the skin is different, isn't it?
It's very
Interesting.
latexy and tough. I just
Oh, yeah, there you go.
go like that. And then you will end up with very sticky, sticky fingers.
Okay.
It's kind of funny though. I can be totally crass. I used to teach high school science. So whenever I would teach the kids sexual education, you had to talk about condoms and being careful with lube. So this is a hands-on demonstration of
Oh, you
latex.
would use these?
I would totally use
Use
this.
them? Yeah.
Because you get latex all over your fingers and it's all sticky, and the only way to get it off is by applying oil. Put some olive oil on your finger or your coconut oil, rub it between your fingers or on your lips, wherever the latex is. It dissolves.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, no, don't mix those two.
I don't know if I was taught that.
Right.
It's so good. It's got a familiar taste almost to it, but different.
It's kind of juicy and. Does our cameraman want a mouthful?
You want a bite? Here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sharing the love.
Thanks, David. Now we're just going to do a short little loop to give you an idea of, once you become a member, you are then responsible for choosing a house site and building your own cabin. Now your cabin is just a place to sleep and hang out. The kitchen's at the main house, all the stuff's at the main house. The idea behind that has to do with maintaining relationships. If everybody had their own completely contained dwelling, their own kitchen, their own bathroom, their own shower, all that stuff, you don't have to cross each other's paths as much. And whenever you don't have to cross each other's paths, it's easier to let discomfort and potential small conflicts stew and get bigger. So if you have to cross each other's paths, then you can feel it. And you can be like, hey, is it okay? Did I do something that upset you? Or if you're the one that is having the ouch, it's like in your face. And you can't pretend it's not there, because it's like every time you see that other person, you're like, ah, ah. So you clear the energy. And sometimes, like I said, with conflict resolution, we'll do that by asking a third party to sit with the two members and mediate so that they can help them hear each other. And we're doing great 20 years later, so something's working.
Right? Well, that's great. It's like a call of action to continue the organism, to
Yeah.
not be separated. Does everybody have their own vehicle here, or you guys kind of share?
We
How's
have
it?
2 community vehicles. Some folks don't have a vehicle. They don't need one that often. They just use the community vehicles. And some folks do a lot of traveling. I have a 16-year-old daughter who was born and raised here. I drive her around a lot. And actually now she drives herself around a lot. So we have our own car. And then we take advantage of having the community vehicle for when we both need to go somewhere. That's different, but depends.
You're right, my hands are sticky.
Yep. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Part of it.
We'll get it off with some oil.
Okay. A new experience. That's a pretty big house there too. That
Yeah,
one's
that's actually the one that my partner and I, Biko, built.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
we built it large because we figured the downstairs was going to be a homeschool. It didn't end up doing that, but it ended up being used as a dorm space when we had extra visitors and stuff. And
Okay.
now it's been available for our expansion as a couple, so that I have the upstairs and he has the downstairs.
Yeah.
And we use the space a lot for, like, if we're getting together as a men's group or a women's group. And
Oh.
so the space gets used. My daughter just moved out this month, 2 months ago.
Oh, okay.
So she still lives on the land, but now she has her own cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big woman now.
Oh yeah. And these are edible. This is a bejoul. This is chaya.
Oh, interesting. You can see them.
So we have food forests everywhere. Everything that we just walked by, I could have pointed out. We have avocado and ice cream bean and rellenia and coconut, and there's food everywhere.
That's so great.
So we're walking through a food forest. Do you want to walk up and see the cordwood?
It's up to you. You're feeling
Sure.
it. We'll follow you.
So this is an edible, used to be a driveway when we were constructing it, and now it's a path. This is 16 years later. That's a bejoul, that's a star fruit. This is a Djibouti Kaba, tree tomato, navel orange, another Djibouti Kaba, cardamom. This is an edible hibiscus.
Oh, yeah.
You eat the greens. This is a Brazilian cherry. There's another Brazilian cherry. The cactus-like vine all over the house is dragon fruit.
Yeah. Love dragon.
And then this is a house that we built using cordwood construction.
Oh, look at that.
So it has a hip rock wall that goes all the way around. Then it has cordwood, and basically that's wood that's been chopped as if you're going to stack it in a cord. But you lay down 2 pieces of wood, you put sawdust in the middle, you put mortar on the ends, and then you stack it up.
Huh.
So it's like an insulated sandwich with the mortar on the outside, sawdust in the middle, the wood running this way.
Yeah.
So it's very well insulated. I didn't really prepare his room for videoing, but I think it's okay.
Thanks for the vulnerability. Oh, it's amazing. What?
Yeah,
Are you
you can
kidding?
come take a peek.
Oh, the floor too?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm so glad you brought us in here.
so the floor is done with cordwood.
What?
The back wall was supposed to be more like a sun, but it ended up like a sea monster because we ran out of yellow bottles. But you can come on in. It's got a stove in it, and you can see some of Biko's artwork. He's been taking
wow.
ohia and
Oh, this is cool with the bar.
mango, and so this is a bar that he's selling, and these are 2 tables, like coffee tables that he's selling.
Those are cool.
And he's just finished making this beautiful bench. It's just amazing. It's like a U-shaped bench with this big burl and root mass on the end of it.
Oh, whoa.
It's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is a room where the kids, when they were little, could literally climb the walls.
Oh. Yep.
So
You're right.
it's a post and beam structure, which means the walls are not load bearing. So all the weight is being held up by these beauties, and the walls are simply to provide the insulation and the privacy.
Okay. This is so cool. I love it. You get the
Thank
little
you.
light come through.
Yeah, as you walk around, the bottles will light up.
Yeah, it changes.
It's we used duct tape, which is just like the force. It has a light
Get a
side and
video
dark
of this
side.
over here too, Dave. I want to make sure that they can at least see some of this.
Yeah, so call us up if you want some wood furniture,
Yeah.
especially if you live on the Big Island. Some of these other tables, they're more portable, but some of the huge stuff he's building, you gotta pretty much be here.
That's great.
Yeah, and this is partly because of the ohias that are the endemic tree for Hawaii. We don't take living ones, but we do take the dead standing ones and do beautiful artwork with them. That's all of these were dead standing. Unfortunately, the island has some invasives that have come in, rapid ohia death, which is a fungus, and it is killing the ohias at a very fast rate, which is really traumatic because the trees used to, once they died, they would stay standing for hundreds of years. The wood was so hard. But the fungus gets in there, and as soon as the tree dies, literally it's like a couple of months before the quality of the wood is destroyed and the tree becomes a hazard because it'll fall down in high winds. It's really sad.
Man.
Any questions?
Well, I have a lot of questions, but don't know if I have enough time on the video.
Right.
I
Get
do-
you
oh,
down to the garden.
What kind of mortar? I was curious about that.
Yeah, the
Is that-
mortar is crushed basalt. So the basalt is local, it's from the lava.
I'll close it up.
And then
That's cool.
the rocks all came from just right over there. This area, when we first got the land, was all jungle. And we had an excavator come in. An excavator is a great big machine with jaws.
Oh, big one.
And
Yeah.
it picked up the trees and put them in piles so that we could create banana berms with the mulch. And one of the areas was a big hoi slab, which is kind of like asphalt, but made by lava, so it's flat and thick. And he changed his scooper to a big metal pointy thing and went bam, bam, and shattered the pahoehoe into these rocks, which we used as the base for the building. Yeah.
Wow.
But back to the mortar, it's crushed gray rock with water and some lime.
Okay.
Now the floor, we actually had to use some cement, which takes it one step higher in the carbon footprint because you
Yeah.
have to burn more to create cement than you
Yeah.
do just lime. Technically the lime could come from the island, but it was shipped in from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
Wow.
let's get
Yeah,
you to
what
the
else?
garden.
Let's see it.
So this is our own little outhouse.
And I see
And that's something else.
cilantro and parsley.
Yes,
Yum.
cilantro,
It looks healthy.
parsley. Careful you don't slip.
Okay.
Another one of our members is building with bamboo,
Oh.
and he's building himself a dwelling with bamboo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is he soaking the bamboo in something or
yes.
for termites?
Yes.
Okay. I know that's a thing now.
Yeah.
Does he have a background in building with bamboo, or is he just
He has a background in building,
yeah,
and he's just started experimenting with the bamboo.
that's awesome.
This is a pile that we're going to mulch, so this stuff will become that, and then we can use it in the garden. And here's our garden.
Wow.
We have cassava and kalo and peppers and sweet potatoes and a bed of basil, a hothouse that has some tomatoes in it. This we call cakey land. It's In Hawaiian, keiki means little growing thing.
Damn.
So it could be a kid, could be a plant, anything that's alive, small, and growing is a keiki. Here we have some beans, more kalo. We have collards and cauliflower and broccoli and leeks. Here's the new seedlings. Here's our chicken yard. There's compost. Hi, girls. So our approach to chicken raising is they are free range. When we first got here, we played fence the human in because we wanted the chickens to be free range. But after about 5 years, we noticed that we were playing fence the human because the chickens wanted to be where we were. And so they were like, oh, table, yeah, let's shit on the table. Oh, where are you going now? Oh, you want to hang your bananas? We're going to eat them. So we decided that we didn't actually need the chickens to be that free range. So we fenced in this area that makes about 1 acre, and we have about 40 chickens. And they just hang out and do their thing. And we do still feed them grain because when we don't, we get way less eggs.
Oh, wow.
We have been doing experiments and dappling and growing black soldier flies and larvae and different ways to feed them more protein so we don't have to do the grains. We haven't quite got a system that's universally dialed yet.
Figuring it out still.
But that's kind of, you know, life is a daily experiment. Yeah. So we live here and we experiment daily.
Yeah, you're in it. You're in it.
We're in it. Yeah, I don't know if you wanted to go in or not, but you get the
No, that's
idea.
okay. We can.
Get the idea.
Yeah.
This is a lipstick tree. Oh, you might want to just blast the beauty.
Yeah.
Here's a beauty.
What? Wow.
Yeah, cauliflower, broccoli, collards, kale, cabbages to some degree, leeks, green onions, chives, daikon, beans, arugula. Lettuce can be tricky because it's so hot, really.
Oh, really?
It can be tricky to get the lettuce to not come out bitter.
Mm.
So we don't actually do that very well yet.
What do you guys buy lettuce or do you just?
Mostly we buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and we love to eat amaranth greens.
Oh, yeah.
Those are yummy. There's more of that katuk. And yeah, you get the idea.
I
I think,
it.
do you want me to take you back to the main house or?
Yeah, let's do a walk back and then we'll do closing. And yeah, this
Sounds
is
good.
amazing already. We got to see so much. So.
Good. Is there anything else that you know you wanted to see but didn't?
No, I really appreciate that we were able to see a good amount, especially the gardens and the main house. And then we'll leave it up to the people if they want to come back and see more.
Good. Got to
We got
leave something suspenseful.
Right? I know. We leave something else, a little wonderment.
Something to look at. Like, what's behind that bend?
Yes. And you know, probably the people too. I think that's the biggest thing that drew me is just being able to see and understand and connect with people because that's when you're able to see, oh, I enjoy this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So when they can come back for one of the events or come and stay.
Mm-hmm.
But Tracy, I appreciate your time so much and taking the moments out of your day for all of this.
Yeah,
It's really
you're
amazing
welcome,
to get to know you more. And I call you as a friend, even though we've only known each other a little while. And
Yeah.
I look forward to, still connecting more. Maybe even we'll do a follow-up video later down the road.
Whatever's in your flow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Well,
It'd
I'll
be
give you a
great to have
hug.
you
Yeah,
back.
thank
Yeah.
you so much. Awesome.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, you bet. You bet.
Yeah. Catch you next time.
So that's the end of the video. And remember, check the description. you want to contact Tracy, she's pretty good about getting back to everybody. I know that because she got back to me pretty quick. But if you have any questions, reach out to her. And then, of course, you can DM me or anything online, and I'll try to direct you. But mostly I'll be sending you this way. Until the next stop and our third visit, we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.
Aloha.